Hey guys, Avi here, and welcome back to our Python programming series. In today's video, we're going to dive into the fascinating world of for loops. These handy structures help you repeat a block of code for a given number of times or over certain data types. Let's get started. First of all, for loops are fantastic for iterating over data structures. To demonstrate this, let's use lists and tuples that we've previously discussed. Let's create a list, let's call it list 1, and fill it with fruits, apples, bananas, and cherries. Now, let's make a tuple. Tup1, populated with random numbers, 2, 6, 10. To print every value in our list, we can employ a for loop. Our syntax is, for item in list 1, print item. What's happening here? The for loop iterates over each item in list 1. It assigns the current value to item and then prints out the item variable. So when you run the code, you'll see apples, bananas, and cherries printed on your screen, each on a new line. Let's do the same thing for our tuple, tup1. If we run for item in tup1, print item, it prints out each number in tup1, showing that for loops work just the same for tuples. Thus, for loops are brilliant for navigating through a data structure and performing operations on each item, be it printing, modifying, or extracting information. Now, for loops aren't just for data structures. They're excellent for iterating over a range of numbers. Though we'll explore functions in depth in a later video, for now we'll use the range function. Consider this code. For I in range, and then in parentheses 0, 10, print I. This prints numbers from 0 to 9. Key point to note here, the range function does not include the end index, just like we saw with slicing in lists, so it stops 1 before. To print the numbers from 1 to 10, you'd use range and then in parentheses 1, 11. That way it would print out 1 through 10 inclusive, and it wouldn't count 11. Moreover, what's really exciting about the range function is that it can skip numbers. For instance, you can write, for I in range, and then in parentheses 0, 11, 2, print I. And what this does is it'll print all the even numbers from 0 to 10. The 2 here is the increment factor. It's added to the current number to get the next number. So we can see here printed out 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10. Here's a fun exercise. Try printing the first 10 multiples of 5. Solution? For I in range, and then in parentheses 5, 51, 5, print I. This starts at 5, increments by 5 each time, and stops at 50, giving you the first 10 multiples of 5. Awesome. Lastly, nested for loops, a for loop inside another for loop, are quite powerful. Let's say that we want to iterate through the first 5 numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then multiply each of those numbers by 0, 1, 2. We can go ahead and do this using 2 for loops. We can nest one for loop inside of the other. So we can say here, for I in range, 0, 5, and then initialize a new for loop inside for j in range, 0, 3, print I times j. And so what this does is, it'll start with the first value, I being set equal to 0, and then it will iterate through each value of j, 0, 1, 2. And it'll print out 0 times 0, 0 times 1, 0 times 2. And then it'll go back to the outer loop and increment I by 1. So now I is equal to 1. Then it'll go inside of our nested loop, our j loop, and print 1 times 0, 1 times 1, 1 times 2. And so on and so forth, giving you a sequence of outputs iterating over I and j. So that is for loops in a nutshell. For loops are amazing to navigate both through data structures, iterating over elements in lists and tuples, and they're also amazing to use in form of ranges, going through a series of numbers, whether that's incremented by 1, by a value greater than 1, or even a negative value. And that, my friends, is for loops in Python. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.